The Anatomy of Fear, A Mortal Mind Unabridged by Valerie Lynn Stevens. Part 39. With each breath, I come closer to God. Youth is both a blessing and a curse when wisdom has been granted far beyond its due measure of years. Experience is not the only path towards knowledge. All of the life is slowly being squeezed from my soul. I suffocate in my own paranormal paranoia as the immortal ghosts of disillusionment and demoralization begin their branding upon my spirit, the mark of shameful demise by stagnation. All of the anger and self-loathing must be exorcised from my cognizance, or I will be possessed by the most immortal and powerful demons of all, those which the self creates for its own ravaging edification. For this is seemingly the only human creation crafted with as much mastery as we can employ. To create, to destroy, or to destroy, to create. Both methods of madness in their means to an end, bringing equal measures of emancipation and countervalence. Destruction for its own sake is purity at its peak, for that which lays the foundation for nature's aesthetic architecture, evolution, and catharsis is that which also reveals truth and freedom in their true anti-Manichaean multiplex manifestations. And yet many forget that creation for its own sake is also destruction at its most subversive acuity in a world where the birth of death is ever ordained, ever omniscient, ever imminent. Yet the absurd tragicomedy of this mortal human existence is rarely unmasked for what it truly is, the same cog in the same wheel of every human entity's mental machinery, an impetus fueled by the desire to transcend that irony-bricked barrier, housing on each side that which is most natural and thereby necessary to survive, and that which is most unnatural and yet essential to thrivance here below and also above. Must we learn how to love? Must we learn how to hate? Or is love merely hatred properly sublimated, therefore making love and hate truly complementary in their cohabitation, mind and soul? Does one therefore perhaps need the existential empiricist reference of hate in order that one may love? And if so, must one experience love first to be complete in their knowledge of hatred and in their knowledge of love? Is hate merely an internalized frustration or righteous rage exemplified especially in those who have never seen, heard, felt, or had higher love? Is hate merely another extension of the quest for love? Is the ability to love inherent, or must it be socially engineered within the psyche of man? If it is said that human beings need love, both to be loved and to love, then is hate perhaps instead the only way a spiritually fruitful understanding of good and evil can be actualized? And thus the Edenic scene allegorically assembles itself into view once more. Love, the missing link, or hate? It is duly noted that God himself employs righteous indignation and wrath upon those who commit flagrant evil. Yet the antinomy arises within this. If God himself cannot be incarnate of any evil, then how does one reconcile God's holiness and eminence with his role as creator or master designer and point of origin of all which exists. Do, therefore, perhaps good and evil coexist blamelessly? It is said that God is love. And can humankind ever fully know a transcendental and wholly sovereign being if we ourselves are so subaltern from the conception of our birthing and rebirthing? Perhaps the questions have become too manifold and the answers too limited. Perhaps all of the gray matter in between the inquiry into the nature of good versus evil, which densifies this complex brain of human existential anatomy, is non-existent. And if there are absolutes, do the precise diagnostics of both what is good and what is evil then serve as the dura mater which operates instead, not as protective membrane, but as the central nervous system of it all? It is said that we cannot be God himself, but that we can become like him. And thus we must come to truly know not only of him, but somehow transcend our myopia if we are to become like him. In imago divinis we were created, yet divinus alone we can never breach. Therefore must we continually strive to recreate ourselves, so that perhaps some fine day we may come home to our immaculation of noumenal essence. Until then, in divinus we roam and pray.